Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan here. We at the APDC just wanted to say up top here that if you're able, please donate to Black Lives Matter funds and support programs. We'll put a list on our website and tweet it out, but just a few quick mentions. The biggest you've probably seen being the Minnesota Freedom Fund, which assists in bail money. Also, Reclaim the Block, Women for Political Change Frontline Fund, the New York City-based Trans Emergency Release Fund, the Twin Cities DSA, and, of course, George Floyd's Family Memorial Fund on GoFundMe. For those who are protesting, avoid posting and sharing photos that could help police, organized and unorganized white supremacist groups, and employers identify the people they're protesting. Blur other people's faces, tattoos, and any identifiable attributes if you're going to post. We stand with Black Lives Matter, so please donate if you can and protest safely if you're able. It truly is a crisis in this country, and it's never been more important. So thank you, and now on with the show.
I'm Negril, and I'm going to take over the world someday. Sub-Atlantica.
All right.
Megatron must be stopped, no matter the cost.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Autopod Decepticast, your weekly, rather bi-weekly podcast delivering an episode-by-episode breakdown of the original G1 series. This is our episode 129, and today we are going to be discussing, at so much length, episode number 24 of the early G1 Transformers series. Atlantis Arise is the name of this episode, and I'm your host, Aaron. And you know, last week we told you the story of a birthday present that my father, Caleb, got me and how it went a little sideways and how it affected the whole town. Well, there's more to the story. You'll recall that Ryan was a furry pet of mine, the Weasel Ogwai. He never showers, stays indoors, can't drink after midnight, and sadly, his old Asian shopkeeper owner died eventually, and Ryan was scooped up by a pair of twin scientists and taken to a lab at the Clamp Center, this crazy high-rise in Manhattan owned by the tycoon, Daniel Clamp. By coincidence, my girlfriend, Phoebe Cates, and we both worked at this high-rise, and I was making a name for myself, designing various architectural concepts, impressing even Mr. Clamp himself. Well, I eventually reunited with Ryan, and before I could take him home, a busted drinking fountain doused him with water. Dousted him?
That's a word.
And it spawned creatures, more creatures from his furry back. These new creatures locked Ryan up, ate some food from the food court, and became the reptilian weasels.
Good lord.
These weasels set off fire sprinklers and generated a population of reptilian replicants that numbered in the thousands. Mr. Clamp and I hatched a plan to lure the creatures into the lobby of the skyscraper, where we covered the windows to make it appear like it's nighttime, but it's really daytime, and we're going to drop the curtains, we're going to roast these rascals. Unfortunately, some of the weasels slurped on some serums, genetic serums, creating a super intelligent weasel, a vegetable-faced weasel, a girl weasel, and even a weasel made from pure electrical energy. And I managed to trap that weasel in an answering machine. A thunderstorm came. It darkened the skies. It foiled our plan A, but we got these bastards. Eventually, we slaughtered the army by spraying them with water, which would normally be bad, but this time was good because I unleashed the electricity gremlin on them, shocking them all to a grisly molted death. Those that I didn't kill were taken out by little old Ryan over here, who started working out and became a little mini Rambo with this cute little paperclip compound bow, and that's how we saved New York from a new batch of Mog Weasels. And yeah, the sequel's not as good as the original, guys. That's just how it goes.
I don't know if I agree with that. I think the sequel is amazing.
I was referring more to the sequel of this little thing, but
I'm Ryan.
You're right.
And I'm Caleb.
Oh,
we have
joining
a
us.
special guest today.
Are you going to introduce me, or do you want me
Yeah,
to
no, we
introduce
got a
myself?
special guest. We've got my sister. She stopped by Grandma's house, and
Because that's what I do.
Yeah.
We stop by and check in.
Yeah.
And my name's Callie
Yeah.
Linville.
Callie, have you ever seen the movie Gremlins 2?
No.
And is your Christian name Calanthra, or is that something I just made
You
up?
made that up.
What? I've been saying that for years.
I know.
You're an idiot.
No, somehow somebody fooled me. I didn't just make that up.
You're
That's
blaming
like
somebody
the
for that.
Greek. It's probably like the Greek.
Callie?
I still like it.
Calanthra is probably like the Greek root or
I'm
something.
never gonna stop doing
You
it.
can call me that. My
Thank
true
you.
my true name on my birth certificate is Callie Rose Carter, and now it's of course Callie Rose Linville.
You haven't seen Gremlins 2.
If I have, I don't remember it. I mean, unless Caleb made me watch it.
Have you guys seen the Key and Peele Gremlins 2 sketch?
Yeah, it's great.
Do you not want me to play it?
No, play it.
If you say yes, will he stop?
Play it. It's no. Well, you haven't seen it, so it doesn't matter. You're not gonna get it.
It might still be entertaining.
I highly doubt it.
Hello, this is Casey Kasem. I'm breaking in here just for a bit to tell people to go out and watch the Key and Peele Gremlins sketch, because as entertaining as it would be to listen to three fuckwads and Caleb's sister listen to a video that's 4 minutes long, just go watch it for yourself. It's great, and the sketch is... Not the sketch, the sketch! Listen, I've been dead for a long time. The sketch is hilarious, and it is hilarious, so whatever. Anybody tired of this bit yet? Alright.
I wonder if that was a mistake.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. Just like in character. All of that is the actual movie.
Gremlins 2 is one of the wildest movies that's ever been made, and I haven't seen it in years, but
I forgot Hulk Hogan was in the movie.
he turns around. I can't remember. He yells at the audience.
Yes, there's a break in the film, and then he turns around to the projector, I guess, guy, and is like, "You put the movie back on. The Hulkster's not about to have all these gremlins around." Something like that.
It's genius. I'm sure it was panned at the time. What's the Rotten Tomatoes on Gremlins 2?
But it's not played serious. Like, it's played
Sure.
the way. I mean, it doesn't matter.
Well, the first Gremlins was a comedy also, right?
I wouldn't say that.
I'd say it was lighthearted. It wasn't straight up horror.
It wasn't a comedy. I wouldn't call it a comedy, though.
No, it's not a comedy.
It's like
It's a dark.
Is E.T. a comedy?
No, but it's different from E.T. It has more humorous beats than E.T.
There are humorous beats, but it's still it's a
All
horror
right, I
movie.
quit. All right, fine. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on
By the
this.
way, this is a Transformers podcast.
Oh, that's right.
So joining us is, as I mentioned before, Calanthra.
No, Callie.
And she's here. We're going to play a game, Ryan. Set this up for us.
This is a
Sorry, this is a really weird, awkward way to introduce a game, but this is how we're doing it. It
it's a
wouldn't
quick-
be any...
It's a quick game. It's just a never have I ever game.
And what inspired you to put it in here?
I saw it on the internet.
Okay.
And it's basically you give yourself 1 point for each of the following things you have not done. So you're
I
all
don't want to keep score.
Callie.
Will you keep it for me?
No. I absolutely will
All
not.
right. So I put a.
She needs another teeny.
I make a tick. So I make a tick mark for what I have not done.
Yes.
How many numbers should I make?
Yes, you
1
make a
through
mark
20?
for
No,
every
just make a
one you
tick
have
mark
not
for what I have
done.
not done. You don't have to do it. I don't know why your system has to be like that.
Yeah, don't.
Number
No,
1,
you'd be a
skipped
lame.
school. Number 2, broken a bone.
And like
These are things you have not done.
wait, broken a bone accidentally.
How do you break a bone? Wait a minute. Oh my God, are we litigating? Did you break someone else's
Break a bone in a tragic farm
No,
accident?
I've had bones broken, but they were surgically broken.
That counts.
Okay.
Fired a gun. Number 4, done.
So
You didn't mark anything down. You fired a gun.
Yeah, I got to mark what I've not done. I'm getting confused. Yeah. All right.
All right, start over. It's my fault. I'm the dum-dum.
Number 1, skip school. Number 2, broken a bone.
Okay.
Number 3, fired a gun.
Oh, I've got a question.
Yeah.
So skip school, does college count?
No. No, college doesn't count. You're paying for it. I've never wished so much I were dead. Number 4, done drugs. Number 5, been in a limo. Number 6, gotten a tattoo. Number 7, ridden a horse. Number 8, sung karaoke. Number 9, gotten a ticket. Number 10, been arrested. Number 11, gone ziplining. Yes?
For the arrested part, does like getting handcuffed count, or do you have to actually?
You have to go to the police station. Number 12, been on TV. Okay, Caleb's nodding, yes. 13, been on a cruise. 14, gotten a piercing. 15, smoked. Anything. It's not specific. I'm getting ahead of this. 16,
Not even the honeysuckle.
This is also up to interpretation. 16, met a celeb. I mean, Aaron, you met Sammy Be Good.
That counts.
I met Killa Mike. I've met
That's
lots
true.
of celebs.
All right.
Come on.
All right, fancy pants.
Define meat. Like what? Because I once
The stalking count.
I once stood next to Bill Clinton.
You have to have had words.
Oh yeah, Paul Scheer. Okay. Yeah.
There we go.
That works.
Yeah.
Number 17, been skydiving. Number 18, had a one-night stand. Number 19,
Callie marked it. I was watching her.
said the liar.
What if does it count if if it turned out to be a one-night stand, but I thought it was going to be? I thought it was.
Does it count if it was
Like-
just a
like-
weekend coke fueled thing?
If the intention was a one-night stand, it counts.
But what if I?
dated her for 2 years.
No, what if,
I know.
no, my opposite thought was I thought it was not going to be a one-night stand, but it ended up being a one-night stand.
Well, that's just sad.
I know, but does
And
it count?
just counts.
Mark it. Just mark
If you didn't want
We're
it,
so close to the end.
it. Keep pushing.
19, skinny dipped. 20, been drunk.
okay. What a weird thing. Where are we going with this?
I don't know. I thought it would be fun.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Do we talk about what we
We
marked?
talk about our scores.
Okay. All right.
Okay, I have 3.
Wow.
What have you not done?
I don't have any tattoos. I've never been skydiving, and I've never had a one-night stand.
Wait for it. On the record. On this recording. Okay. Aaron?
I did not. I know I didn't have a tattoo. I have never skydived. I fired a gun.
Broken bone?
I've never broken a bone.
There you go.
I've never been on a cruise.
There we go.
No cruise,
Christ.
no bone. Caleb.
Have you noticed I've known this man literally my almost my entire life, and I could guess those things for him, and I have not been around him
Right.
in 20 years.
He's very predictable.
Oh man.
I've never skipped school. I've never got.
What are you talking about?
In high school, you didn't take a skip day?
No, that's bad. Why would you do that?
You got to get the work done,
No,
Callie.
no.
Oh, I
What?
did.
How am I supposed to make the teachers like me if I skip school?
Oh,
You were a teacher's assistant who never showed up.
Yeah, that's true. You're not counting you not showing up to Miss Wilson's creative writing class as her admin.
Choosy about your.
I didn't have to show up though. It wasn't counted against me.
So
Is that
you're
how it
one of
works?
these people where
I wasn't getting
if
any
it's-
credit.
If it doesn't count against you,
I
then
sh-
it's fine.
I
So
showed up-
teachers' aides just showed up when they felt like it, and it didn't really matter. Were you ever
Well,
a
then-
teacher's aide?
Oh, totally. And I showed
So
up.
should that count?
Occasionally.
I don't know.
I
Well, I guess
school?
great question.
Skipping is like
up to you.
they're counting on you to be there. To me,
Right.
skipping is
No,
someone
no.
who's
Miss
expecting
Wilson
you.
never counted on me to be there.
Okay, fine.
So I've never skipped school. I've never gotten a tattoo. I've never been arrested. I've never gotten a piercing. I've never been skydiving. Apparently, I've never had a one-night stand. And that's it. 6.
Oh, these clean Carter kids.
I got a 2.
Oh,
I have
you have skydive.
I have.
You
I
have
have
no
not had a
tattoos.
tattoo. And what is the other one?
that would
What
be
is
it.
the other?
Skydiving
No.
and tattoo.
There's one more. Been on a cruise. Not gotten a tattoo. Been on a cruise.
Right.
It would be hard to assemble 4 people into a room
That don't have a
that
tattoo.
don't have tattoos.
These days, especially.
True.
These
I
days.
kind of want one. I feel like I'm 40. I'm 40. I'm heading into 41. And
I've made it this
and
far.
I'm a grandmother. Okay, we haven't talked about that.
Right.
But I kind of feel I'm feeling. Well, it's not technically. I mean, it's like my stepson.
You're a step grandmother.
Step grandmother. They had a baby 5 days before I turned 40, so I was a 39-year-old grandmother. Regardless, I kind of want a tattoo.
I always wanted a tattoo of the Voyager spacecraft, but then I know that I would instantly regret it after I got it. What do you think about that? Yeah. So my problem is I'm afraid to get a tattoo because all the ideas I have, I know that I will regret them after it's immediately after.
Yeah, by the time you get home.
The Voyager spacecraft is a pretty good
I'll
one.
regret them as it's getting made, and then I'll be like...
Voyager, do you know what the Voyager spacecraft is? Are you talking about the probe, or are you talking about the shuttle, or the ship?
I'm thinking of the Voyager, the Carl Sagan.
Not the Star Trek Voyager.
Oh, I was thinking
the real
ship.
the real Voyager.
That's better.
Yeah, but
I
still.
like that.
Yeah.
It's got the record on it, right?
No,
the golden record.
the golden record.
I've made
that
it
we
this
got for
far.
Caleb for
I've
his
made it
birthday?
this far without getting one, so I think I'm gonna not. Because my wife has tattoos all over her, and I think I'll just let her have all the tattoos.
Here's the deal.
I've seen them all.
If we all
really?
convert...
I can jerk off.
Whoa.
Is this a good time to segue into the fact that I'm leaving?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
probably be a good idea.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Callie,
joining us.
For guesting.
Bye all.
Applause, applause, applause.
Have fun at your happy hour. I love you.
I'm gonna go straight to vodka.
Yeah, have fun. Have fun. Bye.
That's
See
the
you later.
tattoo. I should get straight to vodka.
That's a good. You need a genuine though.
That's true.
All right. Well, I don't even know what
Was
to
this
do from
fun?
here.
Did anybody
I
hate
liked
this
it.
game?
I liked it.
Sorry that we stretched it out as long as we possibly could. Ryan, the lockdown continues, but we're here together in a room. What themed beverage should we be drinking?
Absolutely.
This week? Beautiful glasses. Ryan, what have we got here?
This is the Remember Atlantis cocktail.
That seems strangely perfectly themed.
Yep. It was, well, in the book from Jigger Beaker and Glass, it is Remember the Maine, which is a battle cry that started in the Spanish-American War, which was basically just a call to action from jingoists like Hearst, Pulitzer, and Teddy Roosevelt about a fake thing that never happened and got us into a war. But this says, from the book, treat this one with the respect it deserves, gentlemen. Take a tall bar glass and toss in 3 lumps of ice. Onto this foundation, donate the following in the order given. 1 jigger of good rye whiskey, a half a jigger of Italian vermouth, 1 to 2 teaspoons of cherry brandy, a half teaspoon of absinthe or Pernod Veritas. Stir briskly in a clockwise fashion. This makes it seagoing, presumably. Turn
Very clever.
Yeah. And then a twist of lime or lemon. So here we go. That's what we got. It's all booze, by the way.
All right. Caleb, would you like to cheers?
Sorry. Yep.
We've got some very nice mid-century
got
glasses. Are these the same glasses?
That's well, those. You
Oh,
remember
Ryan
I broke the one.
That's right.
Thanks, Ryan, for letting us have the glasses.
Powerful. It's good though. We're 2 for 2 on good
I
drinks.
must have just sucked everything, all the liquor off the bottom.
It's all liquor.
It's 100% liquor.
Oh
Ryan, Caleb wasn't paying attention.
No, he wasn't listening at all. He was on his phone.
I'm sorry, and I regret that. Wow.
I came into it not expecting it.
Holy shit.
It's
You know,
rye, vermouth, brandy, and absinthe.
You mentioned Hearst and Remember the Maine. We were talking last episode about how sad the media, the world is, and how the media is all about money. It was always about money.
Yep.
Selling them papers,
Yep.
son.
It was actually worse historically. It was actually worse.
Damn. Maybe we went through a bad period, then it got good.
It's
for a little while,
all
and then bad.
cyclical.
All right,
Yeah,
well,
it's all.
all right.
Everything's been terrible always. Capitalism.
I'm trying to. Here we go.
Yep. Here we do go.
If we lived in a country that was truly under a communist regime, but still had the opportunity to record as we do without the fear of getting a bullet through our brain for speaking ill against our government masters, we would be sitting here going, communism.
I don't understand why it has to be a one or the other. Why can't we just have a mix?
I would argue we live in that world.
We
this
do.
country.
It's just two weighted one way, it's just two weighted one way.
And that's why we all get to have our opinions.
it's true. We all have opinions, and none of them matter
because
we're not rich.
How do you guys feel about this drink?
Let me start again because it totally just shocked me.
I actually love it.
I don't hate it. It's not the worst of the bunch.
Oh,
Well, it's not. None of it's your fault, Ryan.
No,
It could be.
it's
I just think it's smooth and fun.
It is smooth.
I've got to approach it like I'm sipping on. I don't understand the straw, because for me this is something.
You don't have to use the straw.
For me, this is something I would sip on in a tumbler like that. Like
Take the straw out.
I'm going to, because
It just says to add a straw in the recipe.
weird. Like I would approach this like a highball.
Yeah.
And
No, fair. Oh, I also included some apple slices that I soaked in some basil. What's the name of that whiskey? The
Basil Hayden.
Basil Hayden. Yes, I soaked in Basil Hayden.
I like it. I think the problem
I like
with me
it.
is
It's not bad.
I approached it wrong, and I would treat this like a highball, and I would sip on it, and then I would be okay with it.
There are some.
You're right. Straw's stupid. Let's
There
get that
are
out of there.
some conflicting. It's kind of it's got old-fashioned overtones, but there's something. I don't know if it's the acid of the citrus
there's a
or
wang-
there's
a
something.
wang.
There's something to it that's a little bit off, and when I say off, I just mean it like.
I think what you're tasting
it's not a
is
perfect
the
mesh.
absinthe. The absinthe,
Maybe.
which is a very anise
Yeah. No, he's right.
licorice
It's got anise
flavor.
in it.
Which anise will do that to anything.
Yeah, it will.
You can't
That's
just.
why
it cuts
it's
through
literally a half of a teaspoon of anise is in that.
Okay.
So strong, but that's anise for you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna keep drinking it.
I am too. I think it's good, but it's like I've got to reset how I approach it.
Which is what seems to be with all these drinks is like, well, this is not
I'm
normal.
just amazed that they would add a straw to this. Those guys must have been rip roaring drunk.
Yeah, well, yeah,
I mean, like,
absolutely.
You even gave us a bendy straw.
I did.
presentation's great. It doesn't match. It's not your fault. It doesn't match the cocktail.
It's true. It's true.
So that's all.
I feel
All
like a hipster bar would serve this nowadays, and they would serve it in a rocks glass
And
with
charge
one
you-
giant chunk of ice.
And charge you $15 for it.
Well,
Moving
yeah,
on.
it's all booze.
I swear I wrote this all yesterday, but I guess I forgot to write a
Jesus
last
Christ.
episode recap. What happened
What
last
happened
time?
to you this week?
There was a race.
Yeah, it's a race. Autobot run.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Got immobilized.
If people really,
Everybody came back
if people care, just check
Autobots
out the last
came
episode.
out
Yeah.
on top.
Moving on.
No rhymes, no crazy wordplay. We're going to talk about Atlantis Arise, episode 24 from
God.
season 2, written by Douglas Booth and animated. We're back to Toei.
Fucking thank
Which is
God.
depressing because, in my opinion, this is the perfect episode for ACOM to illustrate. This kind of episode had ACOM written all over
I
it.
heartily
yeah?
disagree.
That's just because you don't like ACOM at all.
What's your
No.
rationale, Caleb?
Because it's wacky.
It is wacky.
Sub-Atlantica? What are we below Atlantica?
Oh man, I have this note.
Sub-Atlantica?
But like, why?
going on?
Why? I addressed this later, I think, but since you brought it up, Caleb, but yeah, why Sub-Atlantica? Why not just call it Atlantis,
Atlantica.
which is what's in the fucking title?
I know.
But yeah, you're right. But then they do it later on in the episode, differentiate it from Atlantis.
Yeah, it's like, were they afraid Atlantis was going to sue
Right.
for defamation?
Right, exactly.
Like,
That's our
They
trademark.
should have called it. So the episode should be called Sub-Atlantica Arise. but I'm already skipping ahead.
I like this, Caleb.
But when Sub-Atlantica does arise, they still call it Sub-Atlantica. Would it then? Should they then call it
Atlantica?
Atlantica.
Or what's the prefix for something that's above other things?
Atlantica?
Right,
I don't.
exactly.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's weird.
Why the change? Answer us, Hasbro.
We
Or,
demand it.
or linguists.
Yeah.
I call upon all linguists to
Sub-Atlantica.
get us through this episode.
I wonder if they did have to intentionally not call it Atlantis.
No, nobody
What?
has the
That's
trademark on that.
That's not real. Like,
But why did they do this?
exactly. It's stupid.
And
It's
if they
meaningless.
and if there was a trademark issue, you couldn't have titled it Atlantis Arise.
Right, that's true. What the fuck?
yeah.
I think there are theme parks, or maybe even
There's an Atlantis theme park.
and I think there is
I went to it. I've been there.
Oh, yeah?
in the Bahamas.
Yes,
Okay.
I have been there.
Okay. Was it awesome? I've seen pictures.
It's
it looks
crazy.
badass.
Yeah.
Is that the one where you can go through the tube with the sharks?
Yes, I did that.
Oh, nice.
On
I would like it if you went through a tube and they sent sharks after you.
the cruise I went on, right before everything shut down.
The Disney
the
cruise.
Disney cruise. When we were in the Bahamas, that was our destination in the Bahamas. We went to Atlantis.
Oh, nice.
And it was that one weekend. It was 70 degrees. It was it was cold at Atlantis. And Harrison, I'm so proud of my son. He rode that one. But yeah, it's a 125-foot drop that's almost vertical. And
125 feet.
That's crazy.
Holy shit.
And so Harrison says, I went first, and Harrison said, yeah, I saw you go just a little forward, and all of a sudden you dropped, and I heard you go, like, and so all you can hear people is go, but
So you went first.
yeah, but what I did, yes, the sound I made was, holy shit! And then you fly through this tube, and you can't. The thing is, you're going so fast, and there's water spraying at you so hard in your face that it's not like you go through it and you look around like, oh, there's the sharks.
Right.
You can't see
You're just like
anything. And
So that's just a
So explain this to me.
shtick.
They have shark tanks around you?
The tube goes through a shark tank. Yeah.
Okay.
there's a clear tube that goes through this.
Now, to be clear, it's enclosed. You're not going.
No,
through
I
the
get it,
shark
but
tank.
Yeah.
but the sharks are
swimming
in they're captured.
Yes.
They're in a giant tank that this tube is going
yes,
through.
they're slaves.
And
Yeah.
you might not even see them, even if it was going slow enough, depending on where
Under the
sharks
best
felt
of
like
circumstances.
hanging out.
But there's the thing. It's
Who
more,
can see the sharks?
the people that are watching you.
So
go
there's
through-
people that can. So
You can
people
watch.
can see you going through
Yes,
there.
yeah.
Okay.
We were watching people go through the tubes, and there's just
Okay.
sharks swimming
Okay.
around. That's the sharks are the least scary part of the ride. The scary part of the
gravity
ride
I mean,
is the
sharks
scary
are
part.
sharks are fast, but they can't catch you in
Yeah.
this thing.
So the scary part is that drop. And It's great. Like
Now, let me ask you guys
Parenting,
this: Would you swim with sharks?
I would. I used to work at the Wonders of Wildlife Aquarium, and if I would have,
it wasn't an aquarium at the time, though.
Yeah, it was.
It was always an aquarium.
It's always been an aquarium. It was called Wonders of Wildlife.
For the listener, there's a Wonders of Wildlife as an add-on to the Bass Pro compound in
had
Springfield, which and yeah, it's an amazing museum.
It is. It's completely different.
totally
It's
recommend.
Completely different than when I was there.
I've never been there before
it's
or
great.
after the shut. It
You
shut
haven't been there
down
at
for
all?
it shut down for a period of
like 2 years.
just two.
No,
it was
no,
like
no.
10 years.
No, it shut down for like 10 years.
It was 10 years, and I always said it was 10.
But it was always an aquarium.
always.
Okay, I didn't know.
There's always been sharks there, and if I would have stayed long, I was in charge of their exhibitions. I was an exhibits maintenance technician. This is before. This is what
You weren't getting your master's degree yet, but you had graduated.
I had graduated from getting an art degree, and then this is what inspired me to go on and get a museum studies degree. And so I was an exhibits technician. So it was kind of like there was husbandry people there that were working with the animals, and then I was like working with like taxidermy. I would
Right.
vacuum the taxidermy. But there, if I would have stayed long enough, they would have I could have got scuba certified for free there, and then gone into the tank and helped like feed the sharks.
Right.
But I moved to St. Louis before that happened.
Right.
wow. Anyway,
I need to go
It is
there. I've
so-
heard it's awesome.
it's
I
so
mean, it gets
good.
great reviews now.
It's so good.
and I don't know if it got bad reviews back then. I remember, but
just wasn't
but
as
it felt like it
impressive.
failed. Whether or not it got good or bad reviews, it failed.
Yeah.
And
It's
but now
definitely
it's back, and it's
as-
been back for a few years.
yeah, it's definitely as good as like any aquarium I've gone to anywhere. It's very good.
The only issue with it, in my
And
opinion,
also, I'm sorry, I was just say that
Please.
like they also have like it's not just an aquarium. They have like the alligators. They
Right.
have like a reptile section. It's like it's amazing.
of ours.
We went there as an office outing right before we went to TFCon DC.
Oh,
that
yeah?
was like right before. We
Did
took
you get in
off.
trouble for separating yourself from the group?
Nah, pants off.
Well,
how did we get here?
at least they all
I
saw
don't
what you were
know.
working
I don't
with.
know how we got here.
We open up with a classic Vic Caroli voiceover that really
For no
goes
reason.
nowhere. But here's what I do like: we have Buzzsaw and Laserbeak cruising over the ocean together.
I love it.
Whatever the Decepticons' version of Teletran 1 is broadcasting whatever they see over this vast, endless ocean, which includes some dolphins. Even though this is a Toei production, Some of the Megatron faces are terrible.
They have a hard time with Megatron.
Here, I don't even care about that. I will just say the difference in watching these two back to back, as we record two at a time, is first of all shading, which ACOM seems to be like, nah.
Oh yeah,
we're not doing that.
Yeah.
And also like angles, like the dynamic angles that we
yes.
see in this are so good.
They're way more cinematic.
Yeah, I will. Yes, and seeing Buzzsaw and Laserbeak was awesome. Are we
Which
going to talk about the laser blast?
Yeah, it confused me at the time, and I read that it was not. Oh, even the opening where
the animation's
Laserbeak or
good.
one of them does like a cool little spin
The
maneuver.
animation's really good.
So good.
Right off the top. But yeah, there's an animation error. The thought is a sound engineer mistook what is supposed to be a sun glare for a laser fire,
blast, yeah.
and it's
In their relentless pursuit of more energy, the Decepticons make
It's very
an
quiet,
yeah.
but it's there. Yeah, I noticed it too.
I made a bigger deal out of it than I
No,
probably should.
it's real.
Megatron, he is pissed that Soundwave has called him into the control room here. He's not having any of it.
is.
Why has he been summoned to watch this basic ass Instagram live feed?
It is like he was called in to watch Soundwave's like vacation reel.
Yeah.
Sure, but Soundwave remarks back to him like he gives a very passive-aggressive remark.
He
back.
does kind of talk some shit to Megatron.
Wait
this is the first time
for
we've
it.
seen. He calls for patience, and he's right to, because Laserbeak and Buzzsaw have discovered a huge fucking underwater civilization that's overflowing with, you guessed it, energy. Time to go.
I did think it was weird the bit where they cut when they're talking about the underground city. They cut to the Nemesis. You didn't catch that? Like right there. Why did they cut to that? It's very.
That's where they are.
No, it doesn't. Of course, that's where they are, but we've always already been there. Megatron and Soundwave are talking about the underground city, but then they cut to it as if the Nemesis is supposed to be the underground city.
Yes.
Yeah, I
An
didn't pick up on
underwater
that.
city of such size must generate.
I think
makes no
I think they're just
sense.
mixing it up visually.
I think it's a mistake, and it makes no sense. I think it's a big mistake.
Well, they don't know what the actual. They can't zoom in on what the actual Sub-Atlantis city looks like because they haven't actually seen it or discovered it
I'm
yet.
not
It would be really
saying the
weird if they put that
Decepticons
there.
are showing it. I'm saying that whoever did this, that's... Are you guys not understanding what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying. I just think you're picking on a really weird, irrational.
No,
I think it's
it
a-
really took me out. I was like, why are you... The sequence of events that they talk about show the Nemesis like it's the underground city.
Are you interested now? Yes. An underwater city of such
I could
I
see it,
see.
but it didn't take me out.
So
of
the
it.
Decepticons are looking through their monitors at their own base and mistaking it for the city of Sub-Atlantica, right?
I'll go...
Is that what's happening?
Ryan,
You know what?
That must be what's
Whatever.
happening.
I can't believe you guys are pushing
then-
back so hard
and
on
then they
this.
attack their
It's
own
so
base.
Yeah.
stupid.
They attack their own base.
Yeah,
Whatever.
And then they
you
punch
fucking
themselves
assholes.
in the face, and that's the end of the episode.
it's time to go. We're gonna go straight there. We transition back to the Bird Boys, who are retrieved back into Soundwave's chest. Which again, great shots.
Yeah.
I mean, Toei has got this down.
You say bird boys. He refers to them in a way I've never heard. He calls them their cassette vultures.
Yes.
Yes, he refers to them as vultures. Yep.
That was
Cassette
Cassette Vultures
Vultures.
was the name of my Black Crowes cover band in college.
Nice.
Is that
You were
music?
in that band, Caleb. You're acting like don't know
I'm trying to
anything about it.
forget. The cassette vultures.
We weren't very good.
Well, we were
That's a
selling
good
everything. We were
name.
just selling cassettes, and no one gave a shit about those.
But they were blank cassettes.
Well, yeah, we never figured out how to put our
you
music
record
on.
us. You record us. There you go.
The Decepticons, consisting of Megatron, Soundwave, Screamy, Thundy, Warpy, they all dive into the blue here. The Decepticons approach the perimeter of the city and are intrigued by, I can't tell if it's supposed to be lava, a thermal hotspot, but it's cool. I'm guessing that whatever it is, the Decepticons want to possess it. The Seekers stay in jet mode and fly in the water.
I'm cool with that.
I'm fine with it.
They're not really jets, you know?
As they hit this fucking, I guess, force field they have around Sub-Atlantica, then they sink to the bottom they twirl to the bottom with bubbles following them, and it made me think of Jaws.
Yeah, the video
NES.
game.
Yes, the NES
Yeah,
video
I
game.
thought the same thing.
I
Wow.
I do like the animation because as they hit the ocean floor, they transform. I think that's pretty good.
It is. I will say also, just to give some love to the Jaws NES video game. I think we've talked about this before.
I love that game. I know it's
great.
It's not well regarded, but it's simple. It's fun.
If you want to spend
time
20 minutes and beat a game, play Jaws or Contra. But Jaws,
I love Contra so much.
Jaws, I have a love for Jaws. I don't understand why people don't like that game.
In 3 years, when we're done with this thing, maybe we could spend this time playing video games together.
Sure.
We could do it in.
We'll be
In
3 years
between.
closer to 50. I can't.
I'm
believe
42.
we're fucking closer to 50.
No, you're not.
I'm 42 tomorrow.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
What'd you guys get me?
I
can't
told you
tell
last
you. It's
episode.
a surprise.
Perfect.
Nobody can tell you.
That is the best. As the team here described, Starscream led the Seekers right towards the city. A city looks like Iacon, by the way. It looks very Cybertronian.
It does.
And despite Megatron calling for caution, they all just bonked right into it. And that's the point where we are introduced to the leader of this city of Sub-Atlantica, and the leader is King Negril.
Yeah.
And he's here with a few of his goons, and he telepathically welcomes the Decepticons.
Quote unquote. Because his mouth moves.
That's okay. Maybe he talks while he's telepathically.
Like someone who's deaf.
I love his voice. It's so weird.
It is a good
Who
voice.
does the
It's a good voice.
I know. Should I
Are
save
you
it?
gonna-
Because it's the only
are you gonna
voice I
save
have
it?
at the
Save
end
it,
of
save
this
it.
episode.
Save it.
It is a special surprise,
Yeah, I'm Negril. Welcome to my underground kingdom.
but it's a little deeper.
Welcome to the underground kingdom.
For whatever reason, Starscream decides to fire on the Sub-Atlantians, but the Sub-Atlantians get the jump on them and fire on him. Negril commands the cons to halt their attack or be destroyed. Megatron, he fires a blast.
Pretty quickly, he's like, nope.
It knocks Negril and his crew off their feet. Having gotten the better of the Sub-Atlantians, Megatron suggests that they should cooperate, and after sending some scrambled communication that sounded like subliminal messages from the Chipmunks Christmas special, his soldiers back down, and King Negril agrees to this
Do you have
team
the
up.
translation of what he says?
I don't have it. Go ahead.
I do have.
Go
It's
ahead.
sped up, and it is literally like the Chipmunks. It is sped up. What Negril actually says in that
He says, Christmas time is here.
I want a hula hoop.
So he just sped up the Christmas album.
Yes.
That would have been awesome, actually. What he says is, never mind, put your weapons away. We don't want to put them on their guard.
That's fun that they actually did that. That's
Yeah.
really cool from a production
It is fun,
standpoint.
except that later they do it
Throw that out
and
the
say
window. Gibberish.
just totally different things. But
Did they ever make a third-party Negril?
Not yet.
oh, that would have been fun.
Dude.
3PNG.
Yeah, let's make third-party Negrils.
Make it happen.
Yeah.
Ryan, with your 3D printer.
No, it's going good.
I think we need a official Ryan Jet 3D printer update.
Yeah.
Or just an intervention to someone take it away from me.
Yeah, someone please take
Have you
this
tried
away.
anything with it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're all going to go in the city. Decepticons, Sub-Atlantians. It's time to see what they're working with. He kind of shows their whole production situation. They've got massive
I think it's meant to
energy
be.
production.
I think it's meant to be magma. I think it's meant to be volcanic. I know it looks like fire underground, under the water, but I think it's meant
I
to
like
be.
how they're are they
The
drilling?
drills.
I don't
Yes.
understand the drills.
The drills like suck up the energy. It's weird.
These drills come from the sky and go down and drill. You don't need to drill. Just capture the goddamn fire in
Yeah,
it.
Sub-Atlanticus
weird.
tech is whack.
Put them on blast.
That's scary, dude. I don't know, Caleb. I'm not a part of this.
What about Sub-Atlanticus tech?
Yeah, man. You don't talk about Sub-Atlanticans.
They're whack.
They're gonna fucking get you, son.
They'll be like,
Hey, Caleb, we're here. I'm gonna get you now. I'm not gonna go get him.
and they'll look at me like,
This is a solid Caleb episode.
Yeah, I know. He's contributing so much.
We need to record at his grandma's house all the time. We're going to fast forward a few days, and the Decepticons have scaled up this whole Sub-Atlanti energy situation, and now they're cranking out energon cubes. It looks like maybe they've made the Sub-Atlantians their...
Atlanticans. They're not Atlanticans.
I had that
Sub-Atlanticans.
I had that joke too.
Sub-Atlanticans.
You beat me to it.
I did? Yay.
Back to the Autobots.
Oh, God. The fucking Autobots.
They are getting down for some good old-fashioned American-style football. Spike, full pads, name on his uniform. He's QBing the action. He takes the snap. We can see the field is full of your favorite Hall of Fame sports heroes. It's Spike, it's B, Hound, against all of the Dinobots. Right. It is a terrible matchup that the Vegas odds makers would put a tremendous spread against. But fuck it. I'm not even going to talk about the game.
Here's my thing. Spike is in full plaids.
As if that would save him.
That's what I'm saying. Is Spike is in pads, as if fighting against Dinobots in a football game. A 200-ton robot. Does this matter? I mean, and we all know the Witwickies are invulnerable to damage, but
Sure.
that was very funny.
For me, this is a lesson. This is just another example of Decepticon versus Autobot ambition. The Decepticons have discovered a whole
Football.
other society, culture, race of beings on the planet Earth.
That make hella energy.
Yes. What do the Autobots build in front of their base?
A football
A
field.
football field.
Goddamn gridiron.
Also, they did build a football field. You're right.
Yeah,
I mean, that just shows how
time.
pro-America the Autobots are.
I guess.
Like, they don't even have Constructicons. Who built that?
I don't know. All you got to do is mow a field, put some paint on it.
You don't know anything about football.
Do they make a regular 100-yard football field, or since they're Autobots, is it like a half mile?
Cybertronian metrics.
When they run down the field, is it like fuck the field up? Is a football? How big is a football to them?
Well,
Is it
as we'll see in a second, it's enormous in Hound's hands.
It's all messed up. I think the Autobots just really have their priorities really screwed up.
They like to have fun. They like to be...
Useless.
Yes.
okay.
Sometimes you got to take a break from being a reactive piece of garbage and play some football.
Are you ready for some football? All my rowdy friends
Oh, god damn it.
are coming over tonight.
They should have animated Hank Williams Jr. in the middle of the field playing the piano with his goddamn boots.
His rowdy friends are the Dinobots.
Wheeljack shows up.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, fuck y'all. Probably need you back at
Yo.
the base. Let's go back to the base. It turns out there's some strange energy flares going on at the Atlantic. You got to go check that shit out. You got a solid crew coming through. You got Hound, B, Jackie Boy, Moron, Spike. They're hydrofoiling over the ocean until they get to a point where they just decide to dive. Go ahead.
Well, no, I was just going to say, we saw Hound's hood come up. And it folded up above his cab, and I was going to ask if that was a part of any of the toys, Aaron.
The answer is yes. The most recent Masterpiece Hound does have that feature. It doesn't fold up. It's just a clamp-on situation, but it is not that color. That is green, and Hounds, for whatever reason, they decided to make tan. So if you really wanted to be a
Fucking
nerd about
assholes.
it, you could say, why didn't you make that fucking green? Honestly, it is a little off-putting.
It's weird.
All right, we're under the sea.
Oh, I love this. I love it.
They're just driving around.
I didn't put it in my notes, but it made me feel weird when Spike pops out in his outfit.
In the skin diver? Yes, I put that in
Oh,
the skin diver outfit. I'm like, oh, a little something for the ladies.
Really?
Yeah.
You guys went there? Oh,
a little something for the ladies like Carly, who may be questionably too old for Spike. But, there was a whole contingent of women that loved Taylor Lautner in them Twilight movies, and maybe this is the equivalent.
I just like that. It makes. I'm glad that. I want to think that he can scuba dive because he saw her scuba dive, and he's like, I'm going to learn to get scuba dive so I can scuba dive.
Except that he is in a skin diver outfit, whereas she was in an actual normal human being skin.
I don't know anything about
scuba
skin
Well,
diving.
he's only 11, so he's fucking it up, but he's doing it his best.
Well, she was in a reasonable outfit for the waters, but he's just like naked.
Yeah. Well, he's a fool.
Yeah. Spike, and they're gonna have dumb babies. Except
I guess that's proven. Spike pops out of B in his
D
full
is for dumb
gear.
baby.
He explains to the Autobots the legend of Atlantis, which he mentions. So again, no copyright infringement. Nice.
Yeah.
True. But this is not Atlantis.
And
apparently.
but what is? There's not much time to debate it because at this point, King fucking Zora shows up with his thugs to take these fools down. We have a battle that takes off here, and the Decepticons are alerted to the attack. Starscream and the Seekers, Buzzsaw, Laserbeak, it's all on.
Why can't Negril? Why can't they just go ahead and just take over the world?
Well,
Do we ever see them again?
What did the Decepticons...
yeah.
Hang
the
on,
point
pause.
is
That's a great question. What value did the Decepticons add for them?
Energon cubes.
So Energon cubes are a more efficient
Yeah,
energy
Energon cubes. Basically,
that unlocked their ability.
Negril says this in the episode where he's like, "It only works down here." Like, the reason we're down here is because we're near these vents that are thermal vents, and that's how they get their energy. And Megatron's contribution is like, we have these energon cubes which can tap into that, and you can use
it's
them.
like batteries.
Yeah, like
So
they can't.
Nergil, his
can go
team have
wireless.
only been going when they need energy. They go to the spouts. And
No,
they
the
just-
spout. That's their whole city's built on the spouts. Like that's where they get their energy.
a magnificent city
It's impressive.
without energon cubes.
No, it can move.
but
on.
they couldn't figure out how to.
No,
harness that
you
to
fucking
lift up.
idiot. There's no going up. If you go up, you no longer can tap into the thermal energy.
right.
So you're.
But they could
now
build that
dead.
whole goddamn city and
couldn't
never
figure
figure
that
out how to
out.
tap into that thermal energy.
No.
Yes,
No.
yes.
They're using the thermal energy. They can't store it. They can't use it in any capacity other than just using it as it comes out
What
of the
we're
vent.
saying is they can do all this stuff and they couldn't fucking figure that out in the first place on their own. Fucking
Okay.
morons.
All right. Why do you guys love the ACOM dumb as shit episodes and like the episodes that are actually good? You're like, that's stupid.
No, again, back to my point. I think that they should take plots like this that are flimsy at best and match them with the appropriate aesthetic, which is this should be an ACOM episode.
No, this is a good episode. This is a good plot.
I wonder if people would like City of Steel if Toei had animated
I don't
it.
think so. I don't think
I
it has the
don't
same appeal.
know that anybody should like City of Steel.
I think the magic
for any
of City of
reason.
Steel is that it's the story is shitty and the animation is shitty, and it's like pairing the right wine with the right cheese. For like a very nice Beaujolais with like a very nice
We'll call it a Havarti.
Havarti.
A Harvardi.
Those go well, but on the other hand, if I'm going to drink a box of Franzia, I'm just going to get some craft singles and be happy with it.
But what is this? This is craft singles with a 50.
I completely
Yeah, that's the
disagree.
problem. That's the
this is a
problem.
good. I feel like the script is good and the animation's good. There's nothing bad about this episode at all.
Oh, I disagree.
It has Dinobots.
They're
I
Sub-Atlantians.
hate the Dinobots.
You shut your fucking mouth.
Sorry, we're card ahead of the
We
horse a
are
bit.
getting ahead.
It is weird how the Dinobots are just randomly called into this episode.
It's not actually. There's a progression here because we're moving toward.
They played football, so they got a little appearance.
No, I know. We
Give you
have
a little.
I have this note later. We have
Taste of the bots.
We have Chekhov's Dinobots later, but there is a progression here where the Dinobots. This is what I'm fucking saying is that this is a good story because this story makes sense later because 2 Dinobots episodes later, the Dinobots are like, "Fuck it, we're gone," because they keep
interesting.
saving the Autobots.
They are building. That is
So
okay.
this is
I will give that.
so
That's true.
This is contributing to.
They're
this-
building to the all we do is save Autobots.
Yeah, okay.
Like, nobody really appreciates
Sure.
us, but when you're in a jam, who are you gonna call?
Dinobots.
No, it's true. That even happened in the movie.
There's no time to debate what's happening here. The King Zora shows up with his thugs. He's going to take these fools down. The battle begins. The Decepticons are alerted to attack. Starscream and the Seekers, Buzzsaw, Laserbeak. It's on. The goal is to cut out and report back to Prime, but the Autobot team is overwhelmed. Wheeljack covers the team as they crowd into a cavern. It's too late for Wheeljack to join his team. Instead, he fires his shoulder rocket to the cavern opening, caving in the entrance a la Ultra Magnus.
Oh, wow. I didn't even make that connection, but you're right. Yeah. He's like, it's too late for me. Save yourselves.
Wheeljack is heroic as fuck, but he's captured. King Neptune requests that Wheeljack be held under his team's care. Megatron agrees. We hear some squirrely speaking. Megatron asks what that noise was. The king explains he was just telling his crew, watch the prisoner, but Starscream isn't buying it.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the fucked up part is what I alluded to earlier. Despite what Soundwave... he just makes...
Sound slave.
He makes
banisters.
Yeah. We all got woodworking jokes in there. Except Aaron. Despite what Soundwave translates, what Negril actually says to his people on taking in Wheeljack is, take no aggressive action. They suspect. But what he says when Soundwave slows it down in just a second is...
Take the Autobot to my laboratory. We'll use him to develop weapons against his comrades and against our Decepticon allies.
I don't understand why they didn't just use the real information.
I think what you just said, though, is a little bit more descriptive in a way that children would understand it.
Yeah, what he's really saying is kind of like very...
No,
It's still ambiguous.
No, but it's the opposite. Because what he speeds up is simpler than what Soundwave translates.
I
Simpler.
disagree. Oh, I can't believe we're getting off into this.
Hang on. Well, what Soundwave puts out there, I think advances the plot along a little further.
Right, so why not make them both the same?
That's true. I agree. I don't know why they decided to use some other random clip of audio and speed that up.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
All right. I'm sorry nobody found that interesting.
As Ryan said, it turns out Finding Nemo wants to use Wheeljack to develop weapons to take out the Autobots and Decepticons. Sub-Atlantica. Yep. It's going to rise. Fire the hydro thrusters. The city rises from the ground. My notes said the city rises from the city.
Well, Sub-Atlantica rises from... No, Atlantica rises from Sub-Atlantica? I don't know. Look at all their tech.
A lot of this is very anime.
It's really good animation.
Yeah, it's great.
The explosions later are phenomenal.
So good.
They are chasing Bumblebee, Hound, and Brawn as they try to book it out of there, hydroplaning across the surface of the ocean. I don't know exactly how they escaped the cavern that they were in. They kind of gloss over that. I guess the rumbling of the rising of the city maybe shook things up and allowed...
That's true. I didn't even catch that. They just... Yeah, they get a... Maybe there's a vent. I don't know. Yeah, the Wheeljack sealed them into the cavern, and then they all just get out somehow.
But they're being chased by a whole goddamn city, and that's where we go to commercial. It's not G.I. Joe this time. It's classic. I like the jazz one the best. I also always like the Starscream and how he raises his arm up.
I like the laser beak.
Solid choice.
Ooh. We
can all agree Optimus Prime is the worst.
Is he really a leader?
I do like in the most recent episode of More Than Meets the Pod, they touch on your theory of like Optimus Prime needs mental help.
He does. It shouldn't even be a theory. It's just a fact. It's obvious.
I think theirs was City of Steel was the most recent one they did.
Yeah, he's got some sort of brain damage.
The way you're just looking off into the distance, I'm waiting for more information.
Nope.
We're back from commercial. Whole goddamn city is chasing Bumblebee, Hound, and Brawn. Lasers are a blast, and the bots land on the beach. They gotta go alert Prime, but it looks like the undersea city that is now sea level is headed for Washington, D-fucking-C.
This bugged me because, like, first of all, why is B, like, so out of breath?
And where'd that satellite on his shoulder come
and he
from?
just creates like an electronic bumblebee that he has that can triangulate.
Hey, man, this isn't the first time that Autobots have pulled some random mechanism out
I
of their
know, but
ass.
it's just like it could be heading anywhere, and you're just like
He knows
2
it's heading
seconds.
for
And
DC.
he's like, it's going for DC. Also, fucking, is it going around the Panama Canal? Is it going above the North Pole? How's it getting to the East Coast?
They're
Well,
clearly in
they
the-
said it's in the Atlantic.
Yeah, it's-
Whenever you went,
Ryan, it's called Sub-Atlantica.
That's the only thing they say.
Atlantic Ocean.
But when is it told that we're in the Atlantic?
it's
the
told
East
when
Coast.
it's told whenever you are back at Autobot headquarters and Teletran 1 says it's in the deepest waters of the Atlantic.
yeah.
The story did tell us they were in the Atlantic.
Okay, so I missed that. Fair enough.
They're heading, it's
Finally, you're the asshole.
It's heading for the Chesapeake.
Finally.
It's heading for the Chesapeake Bay.
The fact that it's in D.C., the seat of power of American government, is meaningless to the story.
It means nothing.
True. It's true.
It would not accomplish them anything to take over Washington D.C.
And they barely even try to do it. They're just like, we did it. Anyway, we'll get there.
The Decepticons approach DC and depart Sub-Atlantica so that they can begin conquering it, all but Starscream, who is actually spying on King Negril, who has plans of his own.
It is weird, like...
There's a problem with this scene. They're driving on the freeways here in D.C. Dude, D.C.'s got the worst traffic I've ever seen. There's no way they could get around town like that. I'd say it's the worst traffic I've ever encountered. It's worse than New York.
You drove when we went to the convention, TF Con.
That one's so...
I rode with you guys from the airport.
That one's so
didn't I?
bad. I've driven into DC like twice from out of town, from out of its city limits, and it sucks.
New York and Los Angeles, I don't know how anything can defeat that, and Chicago is terrible
I agree.
as well.
And I've driven into all three of those. I've driven into Manhattan, I've driven into Chicago, and I've driven into LA.
Driven into Manhattan.
I drove a 40-foot box truck into Manhattan.
That's right.
I drove into Rockefeller Center with a truck that was 40
Was that
foot
when you were
long.
doing deliveries?
Yeah.
40-foot long truck.
I drove a 40-foot long truck, 10-speed Kenworth with air brakes into Rockefeller Center.
Oh,
that was
my God.
that was more stressful than DC, but DC has the worst traffic I've ever seen. I drove from Chicago. I drove an overnight hot shot from Chicago to DC, and
Also, Overnight Hot Shot, my favorite porno.
of course, and I hit gridlock at like 4 a.m. And I was like, "Is there an?" I had a courier.
What?
I had a courier next to me. We delivered a valuable piece of artwork from Chicago History Museum to the Washington D.C. Smithsonian Museum of Natural History. Mm-hmm. We have to drive it in all these conditions of like air ride, and you have to build a crate for it, and you have to drive it overnight with minimal stops. I would have a co-driver that would sleep in the back, and then we would have a courier. Then we have a little bed in the truck.
So the courier's kind of an insurance person.
Oh,
in a
it's all
way.
about insurance.
Yeah.
We were in Pennsylvania, and then we got into Maryland, and I hit gridlock at like 5 a.m. And we were still 60 miles out from D.C., and we hit gridlock, and I said, it must be an accident. And she goes, oh, no. This is just normal commuter traffic in D.C. And I was like, how the fuck why is anybody willing to do this with their lives? To get on the road at 4 o'clock in the morning to drive 2
So
or
you can get
3
to work
hours.
by 8.
To get to work by 8 and then turn around and go back home and then do it all over again the next day. Fuck that. And I mean, so that was the worst gridlock traffic I have ever seen. I did drive into Manhattan under the same situation. I drove from St. Louis to New York. That was more stressful because I was driving the big truck in New York, and it was just fucking, because bridge heights lie. Like the bridge will say it's 12 feet high and your truck is 13 feet high. And the guy with you's like, no, trust me. You'll fit under it.
Oh, God.
And you do fit under it.
Shout out to the
God.
11-8 bridge.
And-
I know.
And then I got into this situation, like, so I'm driving in, and then I get behind this school bus. It's a one-way street. This school bus is just sitting in the middle of the street. And I pull in behind it. I'm like, I can't go. There are people honking at me behind me. And I'm like, well, fuck, I don't know what I can do about this. There's a bus. I'm exhausted. We've been driving all night long. I didn't sleep very well. I was so tired driving through Pennsylvania that I was actually hallucinating a little bit. And I get out.
Dolly he was transporting was about to come to life.
I get out of the truck and go to the bus, and I look in the driver's seat, and there's nobody in the bus. There was nobody in the driver's seat. What? So I go over to the school, and I say, there's a bus here in the middle of the street, and I don't know what's going on. And they're like, oh, I don't know. There should be a bus driver. I actually walk onto the school bus, and the bus driver's waiting for the school to get out for the kids to get on. The bus driver's laying in the aisle just taking a nap.
What?
So school gets out, and the bus driver, like, finally, the kids get on, the bus leaves, and I make it. I'm trying to get to Long Island City.
He's taking a nap in the aisle of the bus, which is situated in the middle
of Manhattan.
Of the aisle.
So he's
of the
double
street
parked,
in
basically, just sitting in a lane.
There's cars parked on either side of the street.
Yeah.
It's a one-way street.
Yeah.
The bus is just like, fuck it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, I don't blame the bus driver because he probably is like, well, every day I come here and there's nothing I can do but sit my bus here and wait.
Yeah. Okay.
So then I'm like, why the fuck are people honking at me?
They honk at the biggest
I
thing
just
they can.
assume because they can't see the bus.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And it's super stressful and I'm exhausted. So that was my New York experience. But anyway, I guess
Great.
So I guess get back to my point. God, that was more stressful, but the worst gridlock I've ever seen is Washington, D.C. Their traffic is atrocious.
Hey, you've been listening to Traffic Talk with the APDC old guys.
Join us next week when we revisit
And here I was
doors.
Here I was trying to move this along faster. Good God.
Where the fuck are we? We're at 8:57. The Autobots. I mean, it's all apropos because we're talking about DC and the Autobots.
And they're headed into it.
Highway traveling to DC, probably from Philadelphia. Bumblebee and Spike have been charged with freeing Wheeljack while the rest of the Autobots go stop the invading forces. So they're going to take a little exit. The invasion of Washington, D.C. is going down hardcore. The Decepticons and the Sub-Atlantians, they've built a machine that can create the same Wakanda-style protective dome over Washington, D.C. that the Sub-Atlantians have for their own city. After a bit of friction, the Sub-Atlantians launch the dome, but the Autobots sneak under it. Prime and the Bros confront the Decepticons.
That's a great angle.
And the battle begins. It is a great angle. Man,
everything's so much better than ACOM.
Even when Toei sucks, they are at least experimental. They're trying new things. It's
their
fun.
lowest bar.
It's just dramatic.
It's better than the best that ACOM has to offer.
And we've only seen 2 ACOMs.
I know.
ACOM may get better. It's hectic. So hectic that Hound and Prowl run backwards through the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool to hide behind the Washington Monument while stating out loud, "Watch your aim as we don't want to blow away history." I think that was an animation error, but I couldn't find any evidence that it was.
What do you mean?
Well, they say, "Watch your aim. We don't want to blow away history."
Oh, because they're backing toward the memorial.
I feel like they should be running away from the memorial, and also it's just weird that That's just weird the way they're running like they're running forward, but they're going backwards.
Yeah, you might be right. Yeah,
But I couldn't find any evidence to prove I'm right. It just feels that way. Bumblebee and Spike swim under the dome so that they can sneak into Sub-Atlantia. Remember, their goal is to free Wheeljack.
Which I guess, to be fair, I was going to be like, why not make it a sphere of protection? But presumably maybe they're used to being on the ocean floor, so they're just like, nobody's going to go underneath.
None of the writers are forward thinking like that, Ryan.
Well, we got to be.
We gotta be?
It just Caleb always shuts me down with this of like, well, it's a kid's show.
No, I wasn't even blaming it on the kids. I'm blaming it on the writers. They're stupid. They're not thinking about that.
What immediately made me think of whenever Spike and Bee swim underneath and go up into the city was Star Trek II, the movie.
The movie?
No, really?
Not the second episode of the series.
The movie.
Or the remake of the series that happened later in the 60s.
The novel.
Not the novelization of whenever
Page 2?
Spock tells Kirk it's like that Khan's tactics in the nebula indicates two-dimensional thinking, where I'm like, oh, maybe they weren't aware of, like, maybe somebody would swim up and under our ship.
Right.
Our city. I guess their city's on top of the water now.
No, it is pretty... I mean, just think about a force field, creating a force field. How could you... I don't know the technology... Sorry to interrupt.
They're so used to being Sub-Atlanticans.
Right.
That the idea of them being just regular Atlanticans,
Yes.
they're not thinking of anything that's below them.
Bumblebee and Spike swim under the dome.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we were.
Yep.
Sneak into Sub-Atlantica. Their goal is to free Wheeljack. Starscream confronts the king, and he gets a little taste of the ray. The ray that was just used to immobilize Wheeljack. The king's got quite a weapon going
Which
on
apparently...
here, and he's stroking it nicely.
He does stroke it. But and it's not clear.
And why wouldn't it work as well against the
I
Decepticons
know, they're
as
all the
Autobots?
same.
What's different about their genetics?
And
but we see Wheeljack completely immobilized.
Yep.
But Starscream you can tell he has a little bit more of his faculties about him, but only a little bit, not enough to concern the king, who decides he can walk out of the room at this point and just leave them.
As all great villains do.
Yeah, it's part of the deal.
Starscream stumbles over to Wheeljack. He begins fiddling with some kind of cord plugged into Wheeljack's chest. Bumblebee and Spike burst into the room, and that's where they put a stop to Starscream's plan. In his weakened condition, he gets his ass handed to him by Bumblebee.
I was going to ask you what you thought he was doing what Starscream was doing to Wheeljack.
No clue. I assume that the cord that's hooked up to Wheeljack has something to do with whatever the king is trying to siphon, energy, knowledge, whatever, experimentation.
My thought was the sentence, it doesn't work as well against Autobots as Decepticons. I guess that doesn't really work either. But like, I thought Starscream hooking up his hose to Wheeljack's chest was like trying to siphon off Wheeljack's like energy, or trying to discharge whatever is happening to him. Whenever B and Spike burst in, Starscream says,
"Ruining Autobots is my life!"
Yeah, there's some strange dialogue. Not
I
as
loved
bad as
it.
the last
I loved it.
episode, but
It's straightforward.
it's to the point. Spike and B, as we said, they're able to disrupt whatever the fuck Starscream is doing. He has the ability, he's disrupted, but he has the ability to still stand up and charge at them as if nothing is happening.
Well,
from the moment he
stumbles
discovers them.
toward them.
As we've
still-
been told that that it doesn't affect Decepticons
Right.
as much.
How does the king know that? He hasn't experimented on any
he
Decepticons.
He knows it only because he shot one Autobot and one Decepticon. He's like, oh, I guess
He hasn't even seen to me, it only, if it affects Wheeljack and incapacitates him 90%, it incapacitates Starscream maybe 10%.
Well,
I'm not walking out of the room if a person's only incapacitated by 10%. I'm going to keep trying to fucking
Negrill's
figure out what the fuck is going on there.
He's got other things to deal
Negrill's
with.
got to move on.
He didn't know that B and Spike were going to come in.
No.
That doesn't even have anything. But so Starscream is only incapacitated, we'll say 10%. B can still take him out. Good on B.
These are
He did,
figures
and
that
he
are
did.
not quantifiable.
I think it's pretty obvious. I don't blame Negril. You can pretty much tell right off the bat that an Autobot is going to be more affected by this than a Decepticon, because Autobots are fucking morons. They can't figure stuff out.
But it's Wheeljack. Wheeljack is the one that can.
He's the moron of all morons.
God damn. So much darkness. Spike and Bumblebee, after knocking Starscream on his ass, they're able to turn off this magnetic dysfunction syndrome. Wheeljack exclaims.
Hurry! You must stop Negril before it's too late!
We see Negril. He's entering Washington, D.C., followed not so discreetly by Spike and Bumblebee and Wheeljack. I mean, he had to be right on their ass.
Yeah,
to
he was
sneak under
hot
the
on their heels.
He was able to open up the to try and describe it verbally. He was able to open up the shield.
Negril opened the shield with a door.
Surrounding-
He made a
that's
doorway
surrounding-
shaped thing from his. He pushed his dick,
So
and
he-
it made a doorway. And
So
then,
he could enter Washington, D.C., and then Spike and Bumblebee were right behind him and managed to go in right before it shut.
Oh God, we're getting to the.
Meanwhile, the
good part.
battle, because remember, all the other Autobots were just in the city before that thing shut down and closed the city off. They're in there. The battle is raging. Brawn tethers one of the Seekers, and Optimus Prime fires on it to ground it. Negril approaches the scene and pops Prime with a magnetic dysfunction. One by one, he takes out Hound, Brawl, Prowl.
I'm an idiot. I'm a moron.
Negril is a crack shot.
Good shooting there, Negril.
Megatron is impressed with Nergil's abilities here. Negril makes his intentions clear that he wants to take over Earth himself. Wheeljack and Bumblebee, they're driving to the scene.
It's all stupid.
Wheeljack broadcasts the danger to Optimus Prime, but it's a little too late.
Yeah, a day late and $1 short. Wheeljack's like, "Hey, warning, danger," is basically what he says.
Thanks, Wheeljack. Thanks a lot, Wheeljack.
Negril
We go to commercial.
is a problem, is what he says, essentially.
Where's the...
Okay, we're back from the break.
I love it. Hey, Dinobots.
I don't understand. Why didn't you bring the Dinobots in the first place? Why are they always waiting till they really like
Just
there's a
using
problem?
them to play football.
Use them every time. First line of defense.
Again,
Just throw the
there's a
Dinobots in
progression here where actually the writing is good, where the Dinobots eventually are like, "Fuck you guys, we're tired of bailing your ass out," and that shows up in a little bit.
So
In a
Wheeljack
couple episodes.
Right.
makes the move to contact the Dinobots at this point. And, of course, the Dinobots are kind of, we got to go save them.
I love the Dinobots.
Pieces of
I
garbage.
blame
They're the best.
I blame the Autobot leadership.
They're the best.
Maybe they should separate themselves. King Negril cues his captain in on the fact that he's about to flip on the Decepticons. Meanwhile, Megatron engages in the classic, iconic scene where he removes Abraham Lincoln
So
from his
stupid.
memorial
It's so
and uses
stupid.
Abraham Lincoln's chair as his own throne. He also plots to backstab the Sub-Atlantians and steal all the power for himself. I'm calling them Atlanteans.
Okay, fine.
And I will continue to do
Fine.
so.
I'm not going to argue.
I love the
regardless of how
idea.
wrong I am. I'm no Freemason, but do you think Lincoln would really pop off that memorial? Like
Oh
that?
yeah, that they were carved separately.
Yeah.
That certainly wasn't part of a one piece.
Well, I do think
Also
it had
later-
to be pieces put together. I don't think you could carve that whole thing in one
Of course,
magnificent
that's how it
marble
was
of
done.
stone. No.
The Lincoln Memorial, when you make statues that big, you have to make them out of separate blocks.
This is all going to be edited
I don't
out.
think it's that big.
Ryan's
It's not-
failure
It's
is
not
going to
very
be edited.
big.
Well, speaking of it being very big,
It's the one. It's I've never been wrong before.
I think in reality, Megatron would just have to sit on Lincoln's lap.
I would love to see it.
The Dinobots.
Yay!
get back to those guys.
My favorite. The only ones I love.
They show up on the scene and prove to be powerful enough
Oh my god.
to
It's
use brute force
so
to break through the Sub-Atlantian city shields.
fucking awesome. Like in 3 seconds, they're like, "Fuck your shield. We're gonna wreck your shit." I love it. They're like, "You guys are garbage, and here's what we're doing about it."
I like their transformation schemes. They seem very
So good.
legitimate.
So good.
But also, this shield is not made of matter.
It's true.
But they
Well,
are
I
there
mean,
just
it's not
shards?
clear that-
Are there just shards of whatever this force field is made
I
out
don't know
of
that
that's
it's
spread
clear.
out all over the entire city now?
It's not clear that it's not made of matter.
Well, they created a generator to make it happen in the middle of the city.
I don't care about it.
We all need to move on.
He's
Quickly.
disproven about the Lincoln Memorial, so he's like,
I don't care. The Dinobots are here. That's all I want to talk about.
talk about it.
Snarl bats a missile fired from Starscream's wrist right back at him. Grimlock attacks Megatron.
Oh, so good.
Head on.
But before, yes. Grimlock also comes up to Optimus and is like, hey, we're here to...
Rubs some shit in his face.
Bill, yes, he's like...
Me, Grimlock here again, Optimus Prime, to pull your diodes out of laser fire. Hey!
We're here to bail you out. And Grimlock takes 3 fucking full shots from the fusion cannon to the chest from Megatron and sloughs it off. Just this fight with Megatron and Grimlock, I fucking love it.
It's a good fight.
I didn't absorb it until I'm watching it right now, but it is really fun to see them wrestle hard and see Grimlock just not be scared of Megatron at all. And
Takes him on.
Yeah.
Takes him on.
He even has another... Grimlock is very sassy in this episode. We have more.
I do think it's interesting that the Dinobots, they attack in their alt modes. They never...
Well, that's how they're most powerful.
Yeah, so that's interesting.
King Negril shows up with his magnetic disruption gun. He plans to fire on both Megatron and Grimlock because he can't... It's weird. We know... This is a weird scene.
It is weird.
We know that he is devious against the Decepticons. He's planning to backstab them. But he goes to this mode, I can't shoot, I can't get a clear shot. And obviously it doesn't matter because you're going to fuck them both over.
That's
so what's the point?
It's bad writing.
But Starscream gets in the way, and Starscream manages to secure the magnetic disruption gun that King Negril has.
We're just going to have to assume Starscream's recovered from getting...
Right, he comes out of nowhere. But he was only about 10% affected anyway.
These made-up numbers.
Bumblebee and Jack, they run a play that causes Starscream to fumble the ball into Grimlock's hands. Grimlock destroys the magnetic disruptor. It explodes, which frees all the frozen Autobots.
I don't like necessarily that trope. I mean, it's fine, I guess. I've never liked the trope if you destroy a thing and now all the things that thing affected are free. Usually it's used with vampires, where it's like you kill the master vampire and all the vampires that vampire turned are free. I think it's cheap and bad writing, but
well, it happened last episode. They destroyed the immobilizer, right? And then everybody was...
No, it shot everybody.
I'm confusing the immobilizer with the transforming thing.
The Transfixatron?
The Transfixatron. That didn't reshoot everybody, right?
No, they had the grenade.
Oh, they had to make technology. You're right. Okay.
What if they mashed up the immobilizer and the Transfixatron? Then you would not only fix them in their mode.
You're continuously transforming?
No.
Oh.
That would be really cool. Though.
They're actually they do touch on that concept in the IDW comics. One of the characters created originally from the IDW comics, he's a villain named Tarn. He's addicted to transforming, and your transformation cog can wear out. Oh. And so because of the fact that he's addicted to transforming, part of his evil intent and motivation, he gets transforming cogs.
Wow.
He hires somebody to collect transforming cogs from other Transformers so that he can feed his addiction to transforming.
That's dark as shit.
Yeah, I've seen people reference Tarn. He's got like a Decepticon logo for a face.
Yeah,
it's his mask.
His over his face.
His identity was unknown through most of the series.
Yeah, all the cool kids talk about Tarn. I'm like, what?
He is cool. They do make.
Who are you hanging out with that talks about Tarn?
No,
smoking cigarettes.
I see that
on the playground talking about Tarn.
I just see this. I see the Twitter feed and I see the Tarn Talk.
The TT.
I think he became a pretty iconic character from the IDW universe.
Okay. Oh yeah,
but that has nothing to do with
nope.
Yeah, Tarn.
This.
Where were we?
Tarn.
Atlantis arise. The bad guys have lost the day.
Mm-hmm.
The magnetic disruptor is destroyed. You think this is the end of the episode, but it's actually kind of far
it's
from
like
it.
Game of not Game of it's like fucking what am I thinking of? The Hobbits. What's that?
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings. It's like there are like 3 endings to this episode. Where it's
still
like
need the
this should
Return
be
of the King.
Yes. So Megatron hits the Washington Monument and we get 2 primes.
I did not see that.
What's the timestamp on that?
About 18, a little before 18. We'll say 17.
Okay, so yeah, Megatron's like a baby bitch who's like, I'm gonna fucking hit this Washington Monument, and yeah,
What?
we get
Yes.
2 primes. We get one charging toward it and one just standing.
It's as if he just left. He's moving so fast, he just left,
Left.
physical
He's the
realm
Flash.
behind.
In any normal
The Autobots
episode,
save the
this is where
moment.
we'd end. Yeah.
They save the moment. Yeah, it feels like this should be the ending.
I also
the
this is
Dinobots
another
also-
time where Grimlock flexes on Optimus Prime.
Yeah, Prime can't quite support the Washington Monument, but Grimlock helps him
Mm-hmm.
stand it up, and then the rest of the Dinobots slag.
Somehow fuses masonry.
Right, that's a thing that happens. And so the Washington Monument is saved. Now that the bad guys are out to sea, Megatron wants Negril to address the charge of treachery. Unfortunately, there are more pressing matters. The Autobots are chasing their asses with the Dinobots in tow. The Dinobots fuck up the whole city, Godzilla style.
Oh.
The city of Sub-Atlantica, I should be clear.
Yeah, they swim out to sea to Sub-Atlantic. Oh my god, it's fucking so awesome. Like at first I was like, oh no, Sub-Atlantic is getting attacked by 8 Autobots, but then Prime unloads the Dinobots and it's like, time to get prehistoric, y'all. I mean,
I never noticed Prime the way he kind of swerves around and like he's driving on the ocean as the Autobots do, and then but he does like a Tokyo drift where the back of his trailer swerves towards the land and it opens
I
up.
fucking
and he
love it.
unleashes the Dinobots.
I fucking love it because also we're about to get another Grimlock and Megatron fight, and Megatron says,
You don't frighten me, you mechanical throwbacks!
On Megatron, we love stupid enemies.
it's so fucking. I just love seeing the Dinobots fuck shit up.
The Dinobots' only
I know it
existence
shows
is
up
in this episode is to save the Autobots.
in a weird way. Yeah,
They aren't advancing they are advancing the plot of the Dinobots in that they are showing how Grimlock is dissatisfied with their status as Band-Aids.
Yep.
King Negril concludes he must blow up Atlantica. And
Really
Spike,
weird plan.
It is. Spike and Bumblebee follow him. Soundwave sends Rumble and Ravage to follow them. They kind of joined forces in a weird kind of way. They confront the king. They're too late. The king drops some kind of detonator stick into a vat of energon that sets a chain reaction off that blows up the whole city. Everyone retreats, including the Autobots, who grab the king before they break out.
I kind of felt like the Wheeljack and Bee going down into the catacombs felt like the first episode where
Nice.
Wheeljack and Bee were
I
together.
didn't catch that.
And then again, in a weird thing of like just showing iconic members who just show up really late, like Rumble.
Why is he here?
Yeah, he's
and
just
Ravage.
here now.
This is Ravage's first appearance as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyway, it's just that's a weird episode. I will point out here, the Sub-Atlanticans no longer need their breathing apparatuses.
It does show them using breathing apparatuses on Earthland.
Yep.
But they are above the sea.
Yep. And
They are not wearing
clearly,
unless somehow these buildings are sealed off in a way. Were they wearing breathing apparatuses in these buildings whenever they were still
it doesn't
under the
even
sea?
matter because Spike isn't.
Well, let me think about that. Was Spike... Well, Spike was never in these buildings.
But he's here now.
Spike's a Sub-Atlantican.
Like, Spike's here now. He's a human. So he's breathing air. The Sub-Atlanticans.
So whatever should be happening to Spike should be the opposite of what happens to Sub-Atlanticans.
Exactly.
Got it. The king, he drops the stick. Everybody retreats, including the Autobots. They grab the king before they break out. The Autobots resurface as Sub-Atlantica explodes and sinks. Negril, who is in Autobot custody, he's gone. Nobody's really talking about him. We probably won't be hearing from him in a long time. If only we could say the same thing about the Decepticons. Great explosion. Great,
Oh, yeah.
This sequence where the city
It's
is
beautiful.
destroyed, it's still, in no world does it make sense why he would just destroy his city.
No, he. And again, we get Grimlock where he's like, "Yeah, saved your ass again, Prime."
Even for a Toei homicide, there's
It's
some
gorgeous.
super dynamic transformations. Around 2116, Grimlock approaches Optimus Prime and transforms. And not only is it relatively accurate to how his toy transforms, it's just very cool and dynamic. They've got the shading in there. I mean,
It's so good.
there's no reason to grab the king as a POW.
Well, and he never
Those are great explosions.
It doesn't play out.
shows up again.
It's all background.
It's good
the,
stuff.
the way the
That's
ocean
great
is.
animation.
It's almost a grid.
It's so beautiful.
Energy just bursting from the surface.
Yeah, somebody put a lot of work into that.
Well, I'll tell you who it wasn't.
Akon.
The city sinks. There's not much to say. This doesn't really have a closing either.
No.
Once the city sinks, it's just kind of over. And that's the end of the episode.
Spike says, what does he say? He's like, Nergril's gone. And I'm like, how do you know? How do you know, Spike?
That's a
he
question
says
that I
Nergil's
have.
gone, and then Optimus Prime says, we probably won't be hearing from him in a long time. If only we could say the same thing about the Decepticons,
Right.
which maybe is what Spike says.
Yep.
So,
So
do we ever see Nergil again?
No.
Oh.
that plot is over.
I think.
Which is a missed opportunity, I feel.
I think it could be resurrected. The return of Nergil.
Nergil.
Why not?
Nergil 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
Speaking of Nergil, let's get straight into the voice actors.
Yes.
It's the one thing I've got. Oh, you guys don't know who Nergil was?
Oh, it's
It was
Do you take a guess?
who's
Frank
the voice?
Welker.
Who's the voice of Devastator? Arthur Berghardt is my guess.
Arthur Berghardt was my guess, and I was wrong.
Oh.
Ryan, who do you think it was?
I said Frank Welker.
Oh, you're wrong.
Oh.
It was Wally Burr.
Oh! Wow.
Wally Burr gets a legit credit
Oh.
in this thing, not just patching over pieces that he just didn't like very much.
Doing shrapnel whenever whenever Michael Bell wasn't available.
Right, or just not good enough. Do we want to go
In the real world.
All right, let's do it. This aired October 3rd, 1985. In the American Top 40, after a brief respite, last episode we're once again beset by dire straits because we're going back in time.
backwards, yes. Mm-hmm. Production date, not air date.
So, instead, we're going to address another song in the top 10 this week, Madonna's Dress You Up from her Like a Virgin album.
Great song.
I don't know if I know that.
I'm gonna dress you up in my
Dress you up
Oh,
in
duh.
my
Yes,
love,
of
in
course. Never
my
heard that.
love.
Yeah, thank you.
We did it great. This was number 5 on the week we're talking about. It was their 6th consecutive top 5 hit in the United States. The lyrics were an extended metaphor for fashion and lust, comparing dressing up with passion, which, as I'm sure we all remember, this song was added to the Parents Music Resource Center's Filthy 15 list.
Okay.
The PMRC,
What?
a bunch of fucking downers. The Parents Music Resource Center, their Filthy 15.
Well, you said RC and it confused us.
Yeah, me too.
Yep. Spearheaded by Tipper Gore in 1985, started the whole explicit lyrics thing that went on to all the albums. It turned out to be advantageous because it's like, oh, well, this is a way I can identify what's good.
Yeah. Oh, it's explicit. Let's buy it. Yeah.
There was a movie that came out that had that was about the whole you had Frank Zappa,
D. Snyder.
D. Snyder,
D. Snyder.
John Denver. They needed John Denver was their nice square guy that came out
D.
and
Snyder-
Get him in there.
So D. Snyder's role, he came in from Twisted Sister, and he is a very intelligent guy, and he like, from the media's perspective, he like surprised everybody because he comes across as like this
crazy
guy.
But he's super. He's just a normal dude.
Had a great
Like,
argument against
hey.
him, but it was all over when they brought in John Denver.
Right.
Because John Denver's John Denver. And when he
Right.
spoke, they were like, well, fuck, John Denver just spoke that.
But so was their goal to ban the music? I don't think their goal could have possibly been to ban the music because I think in even the 80s America, where conservatism ruled, I don't think you could make
I'd
a
have to
case
look
for
at the
banning
details.
something
I'd
like
have to look
that.
at the details, but I don't know.
Although they did try to ban Two Live Crew. There's a great podcast out there called Mogul. The second season was about Two Live Crew and how Luther Campbell and just that journey of that. And it is a fucking fascinating story of what they went through in the 90s and how they fought for freedom of speech. And all right, well, no, I guess enough about that.
No,
I can't really speak about
I
it
love
very
that that sparked
articulately.
that conversation.
Check out
What? What are we
Mogul. Check out Mogul.
Everybody go listen to Mogul.
I'm pretty sure I have early onset. So you guys have that documented throughout this series. You'll be able to.
Number
to
one at
point
the
to
box office was Commando.
Nice.
Back to the sea.
I like Commando.
Yep, I picked another number one movie. When we talk about this in Attack the Autobots, but so I picked a different one, which was Cocoon. Did you guys watch Cocoon?
I saw it in the theater. I never
You saw it in
loved
the
Cocoon.
theater?
Yeah, I did. I remember.
Oh, Caleb.
But I don't know why that gets
I've
prestige.
seen it, but I didn't see it in the theater.
That was released June 21st, 1985, and it's topical. It's topical because it involves Atlantis.
Was that where those cocoons came from?
Yes.
Okay.
I did not know that.
About 10,000 years ago, peaceful aliens from the planet Antaria set up an outpost on Earth on Atlantis. When Atlantis sank, 20 aliens were left behind, kept alive in large rock-like cocoons at the bottom of the ocean. Now, a group of Antarians have returned to collect them. Disguising themselves as humans, they rent a house with a swimming pool and charge the water with life force to give the cocooned Antarians energy to survive the trip home. They charter a book. Not a book.
Not a book. They don't charter a book.
They don't.
Charter a boat.
They charter a boat. That's correct. They charter a boat from a local captain named Jack, who is Steve Gutenberg, who helps them retrieve the cocoons. Jack spies on Kitty in a gross way, a beautiful woman from the tavern. No. From the team.
Good God.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
This is the end of the second episode of recording. No, I'm just explaining to the listener.
When they bring up the cocoons, Negril's with it.
Maybe
Maybe that's what Sub-Atlantica is. They've been protecting the cocoon pods all this time.
tell him to sing about the cocoons.
A beautiful woman from the team who chartered his boat. While she undresses in her cabin like a real creep, he discovers that she is an alien. After the aliens reveal themselves to him and explain what's going on, he decides to help them. And in this movie is Wilford Brimley, Jessica Tandy, Hume Cronin. They all live in a...
They brought the whole batteries not included crew back
absolutely.
together.
They all live next door, and they soak in this tub and soak up all the energy, and then the aliens don't have any, and then they take them back to with the aliens.
In the
they all
sky.
go
They
away.
did, to be fair, they didn't know that they were
didn't know.
robbing energy from the aliens.
They didn't know.
This is the movie where Wilford Brimley, like there's the Wilford Brimley like threshold, the cocoon threshold.
I have that note.
Yeah, right on. Talk about it. It's
Yeah,
great.
so first of all, I'll just say that this means Steven Gutenberg had 2 #1 hit movies in 1985. The other one, Police Academy 2.
It was he was huge. He was big shit.
This movie was number 1 for 1 week. It crushed. It made $85 million on a budget of $17 million.
Wow, that's huge.
So Wilford Brimley, also known as the Quaker Oats guy,
Yeah, and diabetes.
diabetes. Do you know how old he was when he filmed this picture?
He had to be in his late 60s.
54. No, he was in his early 50s. He was like 51 or 52.
He was 49.
Oh my god!
Get the fuck out.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
The whole point was these octogenarians
Right.
getting the energy.
So-
He was 20 years older than most of the other people in the movie, or 20 years younger. Than most of the other
okay.
He
Does
looked-
he just always looked
Yes.
old then?
And that's hence the cocoon threshold.
Yes,
which Ryan will explain.
Okay.
He's 7 years older than me right now.
Mm-hmm.
In this, when he filmed this movie, he bleached his hair and mustache and had liver spots painted on his face.
Mm-hmm.
But this is like led to this whole thing of like, Wilford Brimley was this age, and like showing Tom Cruise at the same age,
Yeah.
who was, I don't know, one of the Mission Impossible
Yes.
movies.
Yes.
I wrote my grandfather ate bacon grease sandwiches, and that's true. Which is just a reference to like maybe people just aged in a worse way at the time.
Wilford was just the way his body was.
Here's the picture of him in the movie.
So
Yeah, if I look like that at that age,
So he
I'm done.
carried himself in a way where now people say, "Congratulations, you've crossed the whatever the Brimley
Yeah,
cocoon
the Brim-
threshold."
If you,
Brimley
if you look reasonably good at all,
Yeah.
across the threshold.
They've also done this
or
with
yeah.
Ant-Man. What's his name?
Paul Rudd.
Thank you, Paul Rudd. Yeah, who just crossed the Wilford Brimley threshold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not a statement on the age of 49. It's a statement
No, it's
on
not
Wilford
fair.
Brimley.
On the cover of TV Guide, this was a repeat, so we're just gonna have some fun facts here. This was the maiden flight of the space shuttle Atlantis on this day.
What?
October 8th.
Holy shit.
It was the fourth shuttle in NASA's fleet. Enterprise was the first shuttle, but she never flew in space. And she's at the New York City Airspace and Sea Museum, which I totally recommend. I've been there. It was amazing. Go to my YouTube and you'll find it. Columbia, Challenger, Discoverer, Atlantis, and Endeavour. Those are all the shuttles. And that's all for the real world.
Well, let's get into the rating this scheme. What did you guys think about it?
I think that the energy harvesting was a great scheme for the Decepticons. I think targeting DC, though, was a weak scheme. I think that the means of recruiting the Sub-Atlanticans was great, but then when they had that opportunity, they fucking blew it.
What is raising Sub-Atlantica supposed to do for everybody?
It's a big, huge,
Right.
That's a great question.
But what's the benefit of raising it?
No, none. I mean, there's none. Yeah, it's
not
true.
really any.
Like once it gets up top, does it get some kind of new power?
Yeah, because then the Decepticons might as well.
Yeah,
just
they raised it with a lot of power for no reason.
the Decepticons might as well just raise their own ship and attack stuff.
The Nemesis.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I.
It seems like you don't need to raise the city to harvest the energy
Nope.
that's being concentrated. In fact, that just spends energy.
Yep.
Wow. What is the city doing? Just getting them to DC? Then they might as well just all hitch a ride or just on a boat.
2DC is my favorite rap group.
2DC? Yeah. I like 3DC.
Well, you're just
I
not
was a
into
fan of
things
the
that
original
are
DC.
paper thin.
All right, well, yeah, I don't have much. This episode made me feel bad just because everyone was backstabbing each other.
Yeah, the scheme wasn't terrible, but it was ridiculous because both were. It was a double cross that everybody knew was a double cross, and then ended up fucking
But they sat on
everybody up.
it. They all sat on their double cross for a really long time. What about the? All right, so we can.
I am the ghost of the iconic moment.
You know.
Probably the explosions at the end when Sub-Atlantica is.
That's just the last thing you saw.
It was a pretty awesome explosion.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, what's yours?
Grimlock. Every time Grimlock was on screen, he's so sassy and Optimus, you piece of shit. You're just come save us, Dinobots. I love it.
I am looking forward to Dinobot Island a lot more now to see these seeds of discontent planted. But you're both wrong.
Oh, what is it?
It's obviously Megatron pulling Lincoln off of his
That's
chair.
true. That's
They did that in a movie,
That's
didn't
a good
they?
one.
In one of the Michael Bay movies.
Oh, did they?
I think they
remember.
did.
Well,
That's a
I've
great
seen
one.
that GIF a million
That's good.
times.
It's good.
All right, well, we win.
Next time on Decepticons.
Andrew Yang's fears all come to life as artificial intelligence takes over all the world's decent paying jobs. Freedom dividend time, baby. You're not familiar with presidential candidate Andrew Yang?
Former presidential
No.
candidate.
Former presidential candidate.
Nope. No.
Ryan's just I'll blindly vote for whoever the mainstream
Anyway, what about it?
candidate
What
is.
about it?
Well, we'll have to find out next time. If you'd like to support us, you can do it in one of two ways, via Patreon or through some merch at our Autopod Decepticast store. Check out the goods at the website or at patreon.com/APodDcast. Otherwise, thank you for listening. Keep listening. Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, TuneIn. If you're an Apple Podcast user, please use a review. Use a review?
User review.
Just use one.
Use one.
Use any of
care.
them.
Take
Copy,
it.
paste.
It's your choice.
And the social media, of course, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at APodDcast. And our website is called AutopodDecepticast.com. Brian?
Does anybody look at it?
No.
Well, our metrics say differently. Why are you acting like this?
It's true. People do look at it. You should look at it too, listener.
Ryan, what are you going to put on it?
I got a shot on my wiener. I
Just a
do have
D
a weird.
pic?
I do have a weird. My girlfriend took pictures of me.
What?
Oh no, no.
What?
Last night naked, where I was slapping a belt just against the ground, and she made a gif of it.
Outside?
No, in the house.
Oh, okay.
Just in the kitchen.
I'm gonna text her for that.
I don't want to see it. Ryan shares pictures.
I want to see it.
Ryan shares nude pictures of him with me sometimes. I'm like, I don't want to see this.
She takes them
You
and
never
shares
share
them with
nude
me.
pictures
Like
with
when
me. Now
I'm
I'm
at work.
jealous.
She'll just send me a picture of like, hey, remember when you did this? And I'm like, nope.
That's funny because you're like wasted.
Yeah. Yeah. Alcoholism is real.
Oh no.
But not all alcoholics just come out and.
Not the good ones.
Yeah.
Bye,
everybody. Happy COVID.
Oh no!
All right, we're done. Break it down.
Okay, I do have a funny story though, because we can talk about. So during the Rona, the time of the Rona, my husband, nothing changed in his life. He doesn't really care to be around people, so socially distance is just kind of his natural. I mean, he's been training for this for 47 years. It's
Yeah.
nothing changed in your life.
Yeah.
You were still like, I wish these people would stay the hell away from me. Great, everyone is. And now there's no one on the road and I can do 80 miles an hour. So he still got up and went to work every day. Well, I was so nice and got up and made him breakfast most mornings. And he likes a sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit. So I kind of got tired of it, but I kept doing it because that was really nice of me. And one day I said, we're out of meat, and he really likes meat. Go meat. And I said, however, I have a leftover hot dog.
Okay. A leftover hot dog.
They've been grilled on the big green egg. I said, there's 2 hot dogs, and then there's an apple turkey brat.
I have to say, leftover hot dog is the saddest
It really is.
description
Some
of,
really
of
sad.
food
If
I've
you threw
ever
a
heard.
leftover hot dog on the grill, though, I bet it would still come out
I
all right.
don't.
So here's
Sear it up a little bit.
here's what he got.
Okay.
So I sliced it down the middle. Imagine this cigar that's sitting here, and you slice it lengthwise.
Yeah.
And I seared.
We
it
call that a
little bit.
split cut in the hot dog industry that I do work in.
I've split the meat, and I've seared the protein, and I put it on his biscuit, and he sat down to eat it, and he says, "I'm sorry, I can't really get through this."
You're doing great.
I said, "What do you call this?" And I said, "I don't know." He said, "I'm going to call it doggy style."
Okay.
Oh man.
So
Wow.
Every morning he asked for
Yeah,
doggy
he
style.
doesn't get around people.
Ooh, hey.
Can we have some doggy style? And I said, no.
So I guess that means he liked it though.
He's not picky.
Are you? So now are you pre-cooking hot dogs by the package? And
No, we've moved on to lunch meat.
Okay.
Anyway, I about died. I mean, I was like 5:45 in the morning, standing there going, "That's hilarious."
With that,
Ugh.
the expression you just gave, which is, that's hilarious, no smile.
I did. I
If
went,
my husband waked up at 5:45 in the morning, I would not be making him breakfast.
Yeah.
Get up at 4:40. 4:45.
I do too, but just to feed the dog. But
You're in bed by when?
Niner.
Ugh. I got stuff to do. Not that
You
you
could
don't.
do it at
well,
any
you're
time.
up. You're up in
What
the
the
morning.
hell
I
am I
it's
get
the
to-
same number of hours in the day.
If I could wake up at
it's a
9:30
scale. It's
every
real
day,
strange. It
9:30 would be my
Also,
primo.
it would be weird for me to go to sleep though when the sun's just hitting the
It
horizon.
really is. In the summer, we stay up more like till 10.
They gotta let it get dark first before they.
Yeah.
you watch
But I-
Cheers. and then,
So I lay in bed and read, and I'll read until closer to 10, but I need like wind down time.
You gotta chill.
sure,
Yeah. His head hits the pillow and he's out like the dead, and I have
that's a good skill.
I wish I had that. I don't
don't
sleep
either.
well.
I don't either.
Well, text
I have
me.
to take melanin.
Melanin.
Melatonin.
Melanin is the thing that makes you brown. I fuck that up all the time. I'm getting so tan.
Bro Cells is the sponsor of Autopod Decepticast. Yes.